everyone else was witnessing my body flailing. My daughter terrified that she was going to see me die right in front of her. And within me, I was in a place that was thinking, wow, how did I get in here? Isn't this interesting? And then my very next thought was, oh, I wonder if I can get out. And all of a sudden I was back in my body. And I think it was a moment that I was somehow being given a choice.
You think it was that close?
I think certainly emotionally, it was. I think something had to give. When you come up to those places, you either go in or you go out.
Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher seemed to have it all. Fame, money, and a love story that felt like a fairy tale. But behind their flawless facade, things started to crack, revealing a much darker side that left fans reeling and changed how everyone views them. From their romance to the intense public scrutiny, Demi and Ashton's relationship had everyone hooked. But recent revelations have flipped admiration into disbelief. There are accusations of betrayal and secrets that were kept under wraps for way too long, all coming to light in the media and the courts. This former power couple, who once radiated Hollywood magic, is now caught in a storm that's tearing down their images.
Do you think the commentary on the age difference between you and Demi is justified in any way?
Look, why are people talking about Janet Jackson's? Why is that? Who cares? I have one. I mean, censor that. What is it? Like, you think children, I mean, you nursed on a, most children come out the womb and the first thing they do is go right for the, so we've all seen it, we've all been there, but let's turn it into a spectacle.
And is that how you feel, that you're part of a spectacle?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. I think they've turned it, they turned my life into a spectacle.
And is that because
why not focus, what I don't understand is like, why not focus on the real problems that exist, not focused on a,
or in your case,
or
on an age difference.
Or I don't know.
Before all the drama, it felt like a fairy tale. At least that's what we thought. Demi Moore was already a big deal in Hollywood long before she got linked to Ashton Kutcher. She thought it was possible, and it is. We're seeing it for real in Delaware almost every single day. She shot to fame in the 80s and really made her mark in the 90s, changing the game for leading ladies in Tinseltown. With iconic films like Ghost, A Few Good Men, and G.I. Jane, she wasn't just another star, she was a pioneer. Demi was one of the first actresses to score million-dollar paychecks, breaking down barriers for women in an industry that often held them back. Her bold roles and her willingness to challenge stereotypes off-screen made her a symbol of strength and independence. Ashton Kutcher, on the flip side, had a totally different story. Growing up on a farm in Iowa, he didn't seem like the typical Hollywood star. But his charm, good looks, and quick wit made him a household name thanks to that 70s show. He didn't just stick to acting, he also jumped into the business world, investing early in tech startups like Uber and Airbnb, and earned a reputation as a savvy entrepreneur. When Demi and Ashton got together in the early 2000s, it looked like a match made in Hollywood heaven. Demi was 40, a mom of 3, and getting over a public divorce from Bruce Willis. Ashton was a rising star in his 20s, riding high on his popularity. Despite their 15-year age gap, their relationship turned heads and made headlines. They embraced their differences and turned them into part of their brand. Demi and Ashton became the perfect mix of old Hollywood glam and new age cool. They hit the red carpets together, their chemistry was undeniable, and their love story was seen as modern romance. They even blended their families, with Demi's daughters from her previous marriage and Bruce Willis being part of the mix. At first, everything seemed perfect. They made public appearances that showed them as a happy couple, launched charitable projects together, and supported social causes. But behind the smiles, things were starting to crack. Demi's memoir revealed some heartbreaking truths. She talked about a miscarriage early in their relationship that hit her hard. They had been planning to have a baby, and losing it left Demi in a tough emotional spot. On top of that, she was struggling with sobriety, a battle she had faced for years. While Ashton seemed supportive at first, Demi later shared that his behavior actually made things worse for her recovery, and the tension between them grew. Then came the San Diego incident that rocked their public image. Ashton was accused of cheating after being seen with another woman while they were married. Demi, already dealing with personal struggles and insecurities, was crushed. The betrayal made headlines, and even though Ashton denied it at first, the damage was done. The cracks in their relationship were hard to ignore. For Demi, the pressure to keep up their image as a power couple was overwhelming. In her memoir, she talked about feeling more and more isolated, with Ashton's rising fame and their age gap creating emotional distance. Meanwhile, Ashton's business ventures and work commitments pulled him away, leaving little room for the closeness they once had.
I don't feel a victim to my life. If I had had it easier, would I have had the courage, the strength to pursue the career I have?
In Hollywood, it's all about appearances, and the system usually has your back. Until it doesn't. For a long time, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were kept under wraps by the entertainment industry's slick machinery. With a network of publicists, lawyers, and studio executives, Hollywood is great at making sure scandals stay hidden unless they serve a purpose. For Demi and Ashton, this meant their marriage troubles and personal issues were kept behind a shiny facade of success. Non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, were a big part of this. In Tinseltown, NDAs aren't just about protecting ideas, they're used to hush people up and keep private stuff under wrap. Anyone who worked closely with Demi and Ashton, from house staff to event planners, had to keep quiet. This secrecy helped them maintain their perfect image for years, even as things started to crack behind the scenes. Their PR game was another layer of protection. Every public appearance, social media post, and interview was carefully planned. Ashton was painted as a tech-savvy, charitable guy, while Demi was the resilient Hollywood queen. $9 billion. Deputy was the only romantic interest, and Ashton's parenting had slowly but surely bypassed Gwendy Idiot. When rumors of cheating or personal issues popped up, their teams were quick to shoot them down. The power dynamics in the industry meant that media outlets often played nice, prioritizing relationships over the truth. Then there's the darker side of Hollywood, like the notorious parties thrown by people like Diddy. These weren't just fancy get-togethers. They were places where power plays happened, often hidden from view. Diddy's parties have long been rumored to involve more than just socializing, with whispers of shady deals and questionable behavior. It's no wonder that such scenes created a culture where lines were blurred and accountability was hard to find.
You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the chrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughters. I'm glad, I'm sure you're glad, like Bruce Willis has dementia right now.
Demi and Ashton weren't immune to this vibe. The secrecy around these events, combined with the industry's reluctance to call out its own, made it easy for personal and professional boundaries to get mixed up. While the details of their connection to this secretive culture are still under wraps, it's clear their struggles were part of a bigger system that protects its powerful players, often at the cost of transparency. Eventually, the walls of protection came crashing down, and shocking truths came to light. The legal issues Demi and Ashton are facing didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They were the result of years of rumors, investigative journalism, and insiders who couldn't stay quiet anymore. The leaked documents painted a pretty grim picture. Emails, financial records, and private messages suggested that their perfect public images were hiding a much messier reality. The documents hinted at shady business deals, tax issues, and even possible insider trading, things that put a shadow over Ashton's business ventures. At the same time, investigations into Hollywood's darker side brought new attention to Demi and Ashton's lives. Former staff and associates started sharing stories about behavior that ranged from questionable to outright illegal. These accounts, along with supporting evidence, showed two people struggling to handle the pressures of fame and wealth, sometimes making choices that would come back to bite them. The tipping point hit when formal charges were filed. Ashton, once hailed as a tech genius, faced allegations of financial misconduct, while Demi was accused of being involved in cover-ups related to their joint projects. Beyond the legal troubles, these revelations also affected their personal relationships, with former friends and collaborators coming forward with tales of betrayal. For fans, it was a shocking fall from grace. Ashton and Demi had built up images of authenticity and success, but now their public personas were tangled up in scandal. The fallout was huge. Endorsements were pulled, projects were scrapped, and their reputations took a serious hit. But maybe the biggest takeaway from their legal mess is how it exposed the system that had protected them for so long. The industry that once worked hard to keep their secrets was now playing a big role in their downfall, with former allies turning against them as the evidence piled up.
He loved my children. It wasn't something he feared. He seemed to be comfortable with the enormity of the ex-husband. I mean, I felt like I was not coming with baggage. I had trunks.
So the verdict came in and it totally blindsided everyone, shattering the image we had of Hollywood's golden couple. After weeks of intense drama, emotional testimonies, and some pretty damning evidence, the court finally made its call. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher were found guilty of a bunch of charges, including financial misconduct and covering up some shady practices in their business ventures. For Ashton, the fallout was brutal. He used to be seen as a tech genius with investments in big-name companies in Silicon Valley, but now he had to step down from his roles in various firms. His reputation took a serious hit, with some investors even suing him to get their money back. Deals he had lined up with major brands got canceled, and his social media accounts, which used to be buzzing, were now filled with backlash. The guy who was all about being ahead of the game suddenly found himself on the sidelines. Demi wasn't in a much better spot. Once a trailblazer for actresses in the 90s, she was now caught up in a scandal that threatened to overshadow all her achievements. The verdict hit her hard, not just legally but personally. Friends and former collaborators started to distance themselves, and job offers dried up almost overnight. She faced some hefty fines that really put a strain on her finances. The fallout didn't just stop at their careers and money. Their personal lives became a hot topic for the media, fans, and critics. Ashton's past infidelity was back in the spotlight, and Demi's struggles with sobriety were under the microscope again. For two people who had worked so hard to control their own stories, losing that grip was probably the toughest blow of all. But this whole situation wasn't just about Demi and Ashton. It sent shockwaves through Hollywood, reminding everyone that even the most polished images can fall apart when accountability comes into play. For years, the industry had managed to protect its biggest stars from public scrutiny and legal trouble, but this case might signal a change. The verdict was like a wake-up call for an industry that had gotten way too comfortable with its secrets. It raised some serious questions about power dynamics, the effectiveness of NDAs, and the moral responsibilities of those at the top. But this whole saga also makes us think about a bigger question. What does justice really look like in a world built on illusions? Can an industry so wrapped up in secrecy actually change? Or are these moments of accountability just temporary? Social media has been buzzing with opinions. A person commented saying, "This verdict really shows how the mighty can fall. No one is above the law, not even in Hollywood." Another one added, "I used to be such a fan of Ashton and Demi, but this whole situation has made me question everything about them." Now, it's your turn to jump in. What do you guys think about Demi and Ashton's downfall? Are they victims of the system or architects of their own fate? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more Hollywood's hidden stories.